What's up, gang? In a box at work, I found two of these Arcade1Up control panels. It's pretty much a sealed, self-contained unit. So I had the idea of gonna add joystick, buttons, if needed. Got Raspberry Pi. And I'd like to get it where it would just control this. It'd be pretty sweet.
I'm Walter Day, the father of esports, and you're watching Matty Mo's Arcade.
If my calculations are correct, and we have enough clearance in between the buttons and the bottom of this protective casing, then I'm hoping to get the Raspberry Pi in here, run the Retropie, use this as its on and off switch, have this wire come out and hook up for power, and we should be able to run a HDMI converter out the back to go to the TV, and then the power would come from there, and everything would be self-contained in this. So we would mod the Arcade1Up control panel to be a Retropie fight stick for really next to nothing for me because all the stuff was spare parts. But these can be found pretty cheap on Marketplace and eBay. They're a little higher, and Raspberry Pis are like 35 bucks, 40 bucks, something like that. So budget fight stick. Stick around and I'll get set up. First thing we're gonna do is take the screws out around this base here. And we can see their current control board, or what we're using is an encoder board. I don't really know what this is. It's the Arcade1Up interface. So pull these screws out. I'm not gonna unplug these wires yet though, because I wanna know where they're going. I wrote it down, and you should too if you're gonna do this. But I wrote it down just so I can keep track of what the wires are. They are labeled in here, so it kind of helps. But I want to get this out of the way so we can make room for our encoder board. Actually, I'm gonna take these off and write down where they go. Give myself a little cheat sheet. Now the micro switches for the joystick are opposite, so if you're pushing up, it'll actually be the micro switch for down. And see, we have power key. That one we're gonna plug straight into the Raspberry Pi. That is this guy here. And this is the volume. We may be able to use that. We could put a speaker in here too. Glue's really held on there. Okay, so there's the volume. And then these are all of our button inputs. It really doesn't matter what colors are what. It just matters that you map out your buttons the way you want them inside of the Retropie. So I could mess up and put these in all different order. As long as the joystick's in the right spot, you can name these in your inputs, whatever button input you want. So really not too big of a deal. I'm gonna leave those buttoned up for now. I am gonna change this joystick though. Let's get here's ours. I'm gonna use this one instead of the one I showed you earlier. It has one of these little connectors here instead of that weird one that I didn't know what the name of it was. So let's put this somewhere like this. I want to make sure that the farthest button away can reach it. Okay, it can't. I don't want it to be in the way of the joystick either. What about here? Let's see if these can make it, just the longest one here. Okay, it can make it over there, so we'll go with here. Let's mark that. Let's see, shouldn't be in my way at all. see that, kinda. Sorry if I'm putting my head in the way. Okay, I can see that. Now this part, you don't want to drill all the way through your control panel. I put my drill bit real short, but I know not to go all the way through, so just barely gonna start a hole on these. That's about it. Just enough so that the screw can get started. It'll pull itself through the wood. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with phantom holes in your overlay. Okay. Good, good, good. We want to have our USB on this end. So up here is towards your monitor. And I'll pause this while I screw these screws into the board. All right, I've got our encoder board on there. Went ahead and split the wiring up here so we can see what we're doing. We need to take out this joystick before we go ahead and wire this up because it will be in our way. And we need first to take off this little C-ring or E-clamp or C-clamp, or no, it's not a C-clamp. E-ring or C-ring or something. Okay, that's the best way to do it, I find. And there should be a plastic piece here and a spring. And then now we can just unscrew these screws and get that out of here. And this shouldn't take that long. Don't have to worry about stopping and starting. Video would only be 3 minutes then. So it looks like everything will fit in this lower compartment. It's deep enough up here in the corners, in the back in the corners. We have plenty of room for a Raspberry Pi or a speaker in one corner as well. So that's working out pretty well. So this thing will be able to hold everything it needs except for power and a monitor. We could put a power pack in there too, but the Raspberry Pi is real picky on power, so it's gonna have to be like 5.1, 5.3, something like that. It does not like it below 4. Okay, so this is the last one here. And this joystick seems fine for what I'm gonna use it for. But is this screwed in on the top too? No. Okay. There's some glue. Looks like there may be glue. All right, let me get a closer look at this. Just a little glue. So there's our joystick and the piece of plastic that goes in the top. Let's take our new joystick now. I'll have to do the same thing to it. Get the little clamp off of there. Let's see. All right, I got it off there, but I heard it shoot across the room. Hopefully this other one will fit it. So here's our spring and plastic piece out of the bottom. Here we should have the joystick and a piece out of the top. Looks like we have 2 out of the bottom. Okay. So remember that goes like that. And that one goes like that. And this one goes like this. So it comes down from the top. Ew, it's oiled. Okay, we can save that for later. And it does not have its markings. Same thing though, we can change the inputs of this in the settings, so getting it the right orientation isn't as important as it is on an arcade board. Okay, oh, That's nice. And let's get this screwed back in. This way. Those two line up, those don't. I'm just gonna use these for now, and then I'll drill some in a minute. So this plate didn't line up exactly the same holes as the old joystick, but these two center ones are lined up. And I can come back later off camera and finish these. It'll be on here good enough for us to test it out and get our project done. You just have to remember to come back and do the little things like that. Sometimes I don't. All right. So now we can see we have a hookup now here for the encoder board, which the other joystick didn't have that, and I would have had to do wiring like a normal arcade, but I know a lot of you guys probably aren't familiar with wiring stuff like that, so I wanted to keep it using the parts that came with the encoder board. So now let me get our 4 wires. A little wiring kit, and comes with one like this. They're different. You just want to make sure that the farthest one on the left goes to the farthest one on the left on this. You don't want to twist it all around. And it's pretty self-evident where they plug it in. It's kind of hard to screw it up, actually. Okay, so there's only one place to plug that in. Let's get a real good look here at where to plug this in. Let me turn this light down. Too much. That's weird. See if we do this. Okay, so got our joystick plugged in over here. Like I said, there's only one place to plug that in, and there's really only one place to plug this in, and it's gonna be right here. This other big one here is gonna be the USB. Let's see if I'm plugging this in right. Wrong. I did just what I said. You don't want to twist it around, but it'll lead you the right way. You can't plug it in backwards. Okay, so there is the joystick, that's it. And then we want to start, I'm gonna have to extend that, ain't I? All right, so one of them I'm gonna have to extend. This is the 1-player start. I'm gonna start with these. We'll go this yellow one. These are where your buttons go, 1, 2, 3, all the way through 12 on this side here. So I'm just trying to think of how the Raspberry Pi asks to calibrate. They ask for left, right, up, down, and then the buttons And then I think start and select are basically towards the end, which is kind of what I'm going to use that for. I'm going to use one player start as start, and then I'm going to use two player start as coin. Because this is a one player panel. I have two of these, so I'll build a second one for player two if I really need one. Okay, so there's our three buttons. There's our joystick. We can put this button in here. We'll leave a gap for start button. Okay. Power is going to go to the Raspberry Pi. Maybe not eventually, maybe not immediately. This might take two videos because I want to add a LED for power so I can tell that it's on. And I think it'd be a good idea to have a speaker in there. All right, I added some length here to the button that wouldn't reach, and that's going to be our start button. All right. Now we need to, well, I'm going to zip tie this in a minute here, but we need to get our joystick put back in. So it's going to go this way from the bottom, and we know that this thing has to go on here like that, as we set it the right way. Let's go ahead and poke that guy through. Okay. And this one's going to go this way, like a top hat. And we should be able to push this down. Oh, I forgot the spring. That's why. Okay, this thing should push down on here enough to get the E-ring on there. And I can see that's gonna be hard. Wow. Let me see if this other spring's any shorter. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's the same size. Ah. Try it again. Okay, top hat. So it should poke out just enough to, there we go. Slide the E-ring on there. Put something underneath this joystick to hold it in there. Not gonna work. No. There we go. Arcade repair, where you always need three hands. You just learn to do stuff with your teeth and feet and all right, come on, come on, come on. I got it on there enough. I was smart and brought some needle nose. Almost, almost. Come on. There we go. All right, let's flip it this way. Put the dust washer back on. All right, so that part's done. Let me grab some zip ties. There we go, got it a little buttoned up for us, looks a lot better. I tucked the start button and the volume underneath the encoder board for now. Next, I would just want to put this back on, and then we could go ahead and hook it up. Oh, forgot the important part. You need to hook the USB cable up to it. So this guy is just going to go right here on the end. That's all that is, and then we're going to flip it out the same way. Let's see, actually, what I'll do is, let me get this off of here first. I'm gonna put it through the hole that the other board had the edge or the header connector on there, and then so our USB can poke through. So let's do this. Is that where we're getting stopped at? Come on. Okay. Now, flip that back over. And as you can see, there's plenty of room in here. So my thoughts were to put the Raspberry Pi, well, I'm gonna put it up in this corner. And it should sit there like that. And then we should be able to cut out some holes on the side here for the video connection and the power. Just let me get where this used to be. Somewhere like right there. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Shuts and the USB is on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw this down, and then I'll come back and then we'll go ahead and test it on the Retropie. We got it all buttoned up now, so let's test it and make sure everything works. So this would be your budget arcade stick. All we did was change the control mapping. Basically, we took the Arcade1Up control board off and we put the encoder board for the USB on there. And so now we have a working control panel. We only have 3 buttons, and start and select basically over here. If we're playing Nintendo and Super Nintendo arcade games, I do start and coin. But like I said, this was, I think you can get these used for 30-40 bucks. A lot of these Pac-Man ones are available because they only have 3 buttons. There's not a whole lot you can do without drilling buttons, but that's not hard. We'll take care of that. Let's try something here. Kung Fu. Let's play a little bit, and then let's start mapping out how we can get stuff on the inside of this case. I'm gonna make sure it works though. We need sound. Okay, everything seems to be working. And kick. It's been a long time since I played this. Oh. This was the first NES game that I ever beat. All right, let's stop that. Start and select. All right, so we already know we're gonna go with the Raspberry Pi. I still need to put games on here. And most likely I'm just gonna put arcade, probably Nintendo, Sega, and Super Nintendo. That's probably it. Okay, so I have an amp and a speaker here. This is a little one. My only other, actually I have these big speakers, not big speakers, but I also have another set of little ones that are about this big. So we'll just figure out which one will fit in there best. And if I want, we got a spinner we could throw on there. Like I said, I don't really want to drill through that, but like I said, in this video, since this one's taken so long, I'm not going to do all of this extra stuff. We'll do the basic one, and then in the next one, this one might even take 2 videos. But I want to open this back up and lay this stuff out and kind of get an idea of where it's going to go and where our wiring is going to go. Get ahead of the game. So let's just do kind of a mock-up. We'll use this NES Raspberry Pi. So because of where the inputs are, we're kind of limited on where we go. So I'm thinking I'll go like this. With this one, I'll put it this way, and then I can use my Dremel and cut out holes for these. Just need the power and the HDMI. can put it there. I just have to figure out how to mount it because I was thinking about it. I don't want to drill anything in through the bottom, so I don't want to mess up anybody's table or something like that. But it might just fit in there just right with something on top of it or something below it. It's kind of got rubber feet already, so it might be able to just wedge it in there. But let's just use this one for the mock-up. So we'll open it up like that. Our inputs and stuff are going to be this way. And let's see. We can just pull this through. That through, put it back on here, and this will stay in here. Isn't it funny how you have a 50-50 chance of plugging in a USB correctly every time, yet I'm wrong. It's like 70% of the time. Okay, hopefully that will fit in here. That one I don't think will fit. I'll have to find somewhere else to go with it. It'll fit over there. No, I don't think it's gonna fit there either. I think it would without the lid being open. May not be able to do this at all. Oh, this one looks like it'll fit. It's a much smaller package. So we'll have that in there. This will plug in to this. Wrong again. And then our video come up, put this through here. I need more hands. 2 more hands would do it, I think. That's not gonna fit through there, is it? Not quickly, anyway. Okay, well, we're gonna have to do some cutting. But the way I was thinking it was to have it here. This would go to the control panel. The video will come up through here, or no, it'll plug in through there, so I won't have to worry about that hole. And then I want to put my speaker here against this front, and we'll make it like a little speaker panel. And then the volume knob, I can make a little cutout here and put it out the side. And then that should do it because that speaker is pretty small. So if that fit, we would be good to go. Let's see here. The screw fell out. Okay, there we go. That's on there. So yeah, that fits. That'll work. So I just have to figure out how I'm gonna mount this. And the first thing I want to do in the next video is drill out. I'm gonna drill them up here, I guess. I'm gonna drill through Pac-Man. Actually, who cares? I'm gonna drill right through them. Because up here it'll be weird. And then we can check. We might have room for a spinner either here or here. Yeah, we don't have anything over here, so I'm not gonna put a Tron flight stick or anything like that on it, but that'll work. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, throw me a like. Let me know if you have any other ideas of stuff to put in here, or any ways to improve this. And stay tuned for the next video. This ought to be pretty fun. I was going to use this for my test rig, just as we did it in the very beginning, and then all this other stuff was just kind of extra at the moment. It's like, oh, it would be cool with this. It would be cool with this. All right, I'll see you on the next one. So these 2 right here are going to be ground and 5 volt. So what do we get? Did I not turn the game on? I didn't turn the game on. I guess that would help. Hang on.
Here it is, a nice little trade. The person I traded got what they wanted, I got what I wanted, and a pretty good deal on it too. Super hang on.
Get what I want.
That comes later.
Yeah.
Okay. It's on fire.
What happened? Whoa.
Lots of smoke.
Well, that's bad.
Yeah, well, thanks for watching.
When you take care of people, people take care of you in this community.
That's the truth.
So everyone, please remember that. Even if we're competitors, we're not enemies.